Welcome to the Saddle Talk Podcast, where country living meets real talk. Authentic stories, meaningful interviews, and down-to-earth wisdom with a little Southern charm. Saddle up. All right, welcome to another episode of the Talk Podcast, where we talk about strength, life, hope, and what is possible when we look beyond the noise. Today, I have Chauncey Coleman. She's also a fellow Tuskegee alumni, as myself. As you all know, I always bring a lot of Tuskegee fam on, but we all fam, so I got to support the fam. And she is the owner of Floral, which is an Atlanta-based business that's passionate about creating bold, modern floral designs for all occasions with a focus on quality and creativity. She strives to bring a touch of color, elegance, and beauty to every event. Her and her team of skilled designers are dedicated to exceeding expectations and bringing your floral dreams to life. So welcome to the show, Chauncey. How are you doing?
I am so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I am doing splendid.
That's what's up. You know, I've been following you a little bit on, on all your social media platforms,
Thank
and
you.
I see like a lot of the different, designs you do for different events, and I thought they were pretty interesting. I mean, as a matter of fact, I probably need to hire you, bring y'all up here to Nashville to do
I'd
a
love
couple
to
of events.
come.
So,
I've been to
yeah.
Nashville for a little decorating.
Okay. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and things like that.
Well, as you stated, I am a floral designer and I've been doing this for a legit, for probably about 10 years. But I started doing floral design as an agriculture education teacher.
Wow.
Gigi, I majored in environmental science.
Okay.
And later, I'd like to say I followed the legacy of Dr. George Washington Carver by going to Idaho
Yeah.
University and getting a master's degree in agricultural education. And so from that moment, after some internships, all because of Tuskegee, I interned at NASA for 2 summers.
Really?
And yeah, it was pretty cool. I worked at the Carver Experiment Station at Tuskegee. And from that experience, I interned at NASA. And my second summer, they let me do tours. And I was
Wow.
this is pretty cool. I'm actually getting to share my love for plants and science with little kids. And another fellow Tuskegee alum was at Iowa State at the time, Ronald Greider, who I call my mentor, and he still calls me his mentee. He was telling me about how I could actually teach agriculture through the ag education program. And so from that, with the master's, I got a teacher certification and moved to Georgia, back home to Georgia, and started teaching. And my first teaching job, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to teach floral design. And I'm like, nobody told me that was a part of the curriculum. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I pulled out some VHS tapes, some old magazines, with the help of an
Now
agriculture.
you're starting to show our age now.
Right, right. And so we started doing these really cool mock weddings. And I had the support of the community. And then we actually started getting these gigs where they were actually hiring my class to do these events, even for the Board of Education. And
Really? Oh, that's pretty cool.
it was pretty cool. And I realized, like, wow, I'm doing a lot of cool things with my students for free. And so I was like, I could kind of do this on my own. And that's when I started to get into designing small social events and then got my first wedding for, of course, my one of my bestie sisters. And it just kind of grew from there.
That's pretty cool. Like, I didn't know that you were into all that when you were in Tuskegee. So, what made you choose Tuskegee, and what made you want to go into that field? Have you always been interested in, floral, like when you were growing up as a child?
Well, it's all about my lineage. So
Uh-huh.
my grandfather was what they called at the time a Negro extension agent. So he was
Okay.
that guy in the county that when your hogs were sick or your collard greens weren't growing, you called him. And then my dad worked for the extension service too in another area, but he always had Candace, which is my sister, Tuskegee
Uh-huh.
alum, always had us in 4-H camp. our
Uh-huh.
whole life. And so we were always engaged in some type of agricultural experience. So it was only natural that after high school, I actually followed my sister. I was going to
Right.
be at Fort Valley State University. And
Oh,
because
yeah, no, okay, yeah,
I
I'm
was
glad
gonna
you
go to Fort
yeah.
Valley. I had a presidential scholarship there, and then Candace, convinced my mom and dad. She's like, "It would be so much easier if she came here, we could live together."
There you go, Candace, that's what's up.
Candace looked out for me, and so,
Yeah.
let me tell you, that decision was made a week before school started, so I didn't even
Really?
make orientation. I literally made a switcheroo that quick, and, landed at Tuskegee, and environmental science was always just a part of our groove, saving the planet, saving the earth. And from there, I met the dopest people on this planet in
Yes,
that
that's
Millbank Hall.
right. That's one thing that I was talking to earlier with I don't know if you saw the one with Rudy and Shamika on there. Seneca actually had we actually filmed the episode too, and we were just talking about like how at Tuskegee it's like a big melting pot. You meet people from all around like the country and sometimes the world. Like, me being from Alabama, I had never been to California, but you got the California club there. You got the Louisiana club there. You got the New York club there. You got the Chicago club. So you got all of these brilliant minds from like around the United States, man, that's
Mhm.
all centered in this one little school that's in the middle of nowhere
It's the
between
coolest
Montgomery
experience.
and yeah, between
Yeah,
Montgomery and Auburn. And I always say it's the Tuskegee experience, but it's also an experiment as well because you're when you're there, you're still trying to figure yourself out. Then you're
absolutely.
introduced to all these different people from around the country, and then
Mhm.
you still got to get your grades and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely.
it's kind of like a balancing act. You learn how to survive. Hey, so when you were at NASA, now you said that you were giving tours as in like tours in the facility, or
So I worked with a special project. They had a kind of like a, what do you call it? They would get Tuskegee interns because they had a partnership with
uh-huh.
Tuskegee University because of the George Washington Carver experiment station. As you know, Dr. George Washington Carver showed the world how to create all of the industrial uses for peanuts and sweet potato and
Right.
soybean. And so the idea was, when people go up to the experiment station, they need to be able to grow their own food and be able to make different things from the food as well.
Uh-huh.
And so I was on a special project where they were growing things hydroponically, which they were doing in Tuskegee as well. And they would give these tours, and it was I worked in what they call a conviron, and it's just like a controlled environment. And so,
Uh-huh.
it's these big uh metal boxes in the middle of the building, and then when you open it up and walk inside, it's like, oh wow, it was pretty pretty cool. And so one day somebody couldn't do the tour, and they're like, Chauncey, you work here, you can do it. And I was like, for real? And so the kids are so infatuated, and that's just kind of,
Yeah.
how it
Well,
came to be. So I interned one summer at Kennedy Space Center and the other at Johnson Space Center. So it was pretty
that's
cool.
pretty
And
cool.
it's all because of the Tuskegee experience.
Yeah. Well, Tuskegee it'll force you to have a personality and be a go-getter because it's just kind of
Yes.
like I say, you're in the middle of nowhere. So you really kind of find out who you are. So speeding up, going into like your business and what you do. So how was it when you did your first I want to get it right. Like when you did your first event where it was like floral and decorative and things like that. Like, were you nervous or were you just like, how were you able to manage and get all that organized?
Well, so the event business, you definitely have to be organized because you can end up on Judge Judy. You can have somebody.
Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
never ever
I wasn't
happened to
expecting
me.
that.
Look, it's never happened to me. Or you can have people do some trifling things and um, put one of those PayPal, what do you call those things? Transaction requests, like revoke it, reverse it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Reverse it and stuff. Yeah.
I didn't do that. And so, you definitely have to be on your P's and Q's and, I would say I've never been nervous because when I first started out, I had the support of my sisters and
Uh-huh.
my sister Shonda. Candace has always been away living somewhere in the Midwest. But Shonda, my older sister, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
Shonda, I got a gig. Oh my gosh, I need your help. And the crazy thing is, just starting out, I didn't know how to charge people like that. And so
Right.
I would never really pay her. I'd probably give her like $25. And you want to get, I'm,
Hey, you
I'm
my
so
sister, so charge it to the game. Yeah, it is what it
It's
is.
just it's just a running joke with my family. It's kind of embarrassing, but, it's just like with any friend, like, they have a hustle and,
Right.
you're there for support.
Right.
But now I will say that, anyone that works with me, especially my siblings, like, I hold them down.
Okay, so do you now, as far as your team, so are you like the organizer and things like that? Go, how walk me through like when you're getting ready to plan an event, or how do you go out and get well, you're probably big enough now where people just probably come to you, because I've seen some of the photos and some of the, I don't know, the set designs. You got one where I think is you and your husband where y'all are like buy like this old school cars in black and white. I thought that was a really, really dope setup. I was like, I need to call her because I need to do some photos like that and things,
Well, I really appreciate that. So the beautiful blessing that I have, and I think that you could attest to this as well. Whenever you do a really good job, you don't
Uh-huh.
really have to promote your business because it speaks for yourself. Your clients are
Right.
going to be the ones to be like, you know what? You need a realtor? Well, you need to call my guy Travis. That is who you
Right,
need.
there you go.
And so I am really blessed that um I am kind of like what I call a hidden gem.
Uh-huh.
And I work for event planners. And I would like to say because of the style of design that I have, it's a very simple, unique, modern style, not over the top, but it's a situation where if I do an event, even if somebody goes to an event, I or my husband will get a text message and be like, "Did Chauncey do that?" So it's just kind of like people know my work and identify my work. So it speaks for itself. I do have a website, but I don't have business cards.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to do any ads or anything like that. And I say that that's a blessing. I do say that I am a hidden gem. And I know that because I did an event for an event planner, and her dad was Johnny Cochran. And
Wow.
she said to me after she called me to thank me for doing a good job, she says, "How come I've never heard of you in my circle?" And
Uh-huh.
I said, "You actually have to know somebody that knows me to get to me." I don't know if that sounded crazy or not,
No, but
but
that's good. That's the mystique
I
behind
mean,
it. You the man behind the man behind the man.
it's a blessing, but she's called me to do a couple of things for her since then. And so, that's the kind of blessing that it has been, to work in the Atlanta market. It's always been a goal and a dream of mine. I used to tell my husband all the time, he's my, you say my team, who is my team?
Right.
My team is Ron, but I do have some amazing floral designers that when I have a big job, we have a nice network where you can reach out to people you've worked with in the past and they just hold you down. They come and work for you. It's kind of like little ghost designers.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So that's pretty much how it works. But I do have some people that work with me and help me process my flowers, and they'll come, with me and just hold me down if I'm doing like an installation.
Huh?
They'll hand me supplies, hand me so I don't have to go up and down a ladder or something like that. But I definitely have some day ones. And I would tell you, I've got some cool people that I went to school with that I didn't really know them at Tuskegee. I knew of them, but just from, like social media is like, everybody's your bestie. But I've had
Right.
some super fam that have actually hit me up. And it's just like, I would love just to be, a fly on the wall, when you go to one of your events. And so I have reached out to a couple of people and they have come and helped me, and it's been pretty cool.
So what like how, when say for instance like I call you up and I say, hey, I have an event going on and I would love for you to come, like, decorate and make it look good. Like, what is your thought process? Do they just give you the idea, and like, how do you come up with the colors and the way everything is presented? I mean, because your stuff looks like it is in one of those, wedding magazine type of,
Me?
elegant ball. Like, I actually was really shocked. I mean, not saying that you can't do anything like that, but I mean, you really put like some time and some effort and some thought into every little placement. I saw, like, I think it was, I don't know if it was your birthday or something like that. I don't know, it was an event you did or whatever, but just like the arrangement and everything, and all the way down to the detail, like, what goes into that thought
Well,
process, or how do you come up with that?
well, I'll be honest with you. The designs that I do, they're God-given talent. I have
Okay.
never been formally trained. I have never gone to a workshop, actually. And so early on, when you ask, like, how does everything work out when you start, sometimes I would have a little anxiety
Uh-huh.
just because, like, I am, you can give me inspiration, but I'm never going to recreate somebody else's design. Number one. Number two,
Uh-huh.
as I told you, I am currently an agriculture education teacher. So when I started out teaching floral design, I taught the kids the color wheel. And
Oh yeah, that's important.
yeah, when people contact me, it's because of the way I put things together. I like to call myself a colorist. Like I know what works together. I know what goes together. And so because of that, I'm able to come up with the vision. And as a horticulture teacher, I know my flowers. So,
Uh,
it's important to know flowers that are in season, flowers that need to be integrated into a design that are possibly of quality faux flowers that are not
oh,
available. So, a lot of people call themselves like, I'll say I'm a florist. So I'm not
uh-huh.
a florist. I'm a floral designer because there's an art behind what I do. And I say that because I do not specialize in like your 1-800 flowers. It's like when you say, oh, Chauncey, I want 300 roses for my girl. I'll
Yeah,
say, okay, well, mine's going to have some funk to it. It's not going to
right.
be a little roundy moundy, that you see. So, I don't know. It's just kind of like, you know, when people that are like artists and they can
Right.
draw, they can paint, and that stuff is just kind of God given, and so mine is God given too. And so because of that, I don't ever take that for granted. And I pray before I do an event. I ask God,
Well,
please give me vision.
those prayers definitely aren't bouncing off the ceiling. They do a good job. So
Thank
tell me about a time where you just felt like, you didn't do like a good job, or you had some kind of obstacles in your way and things like that, and how you overcame it, and turned it into something spectacular.
I'm not gonna say that you know, I'm a fan of my work, but I
Okay.
don't, I'm very humble. I don't post everything that I do,
Uh-huh.
but there have been, like situations where one of my first big jobs for a celebrity, the event planner, she was like a devil wears Prada kind of lady.
Wow. I saw that movie, so I can just imagine.
So, like I say, when I do these flowers, I'm kind of hustling. So, like after school, they got an Airbnb, celebrities, they just have all kind of money. They don't do stuff at their house. They go get these $1 million Airbnbs and set up inside of them. And I designed till like 4 or 5 in the morning, went home, took a shower, got to work, called roll, and had a text message. She wants you to come back. She wants you to rearrange these flowers. And I'm sitting there like, I'm already at my job. Like, there's nothing I can do.
Right.
And the assistant was like, you better figure it out and you better get here. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how I handled that situation. It might have, but I got it done.
Yeah.
Somebody held me down and I got it done. So, but
So
yeah.
how do you manage that? Like, with being, being a teacher, then
Well,
running your business, and then, you're a mom too, I mean, and still able to, have the level of success that you have.
um, I manage it by using this app on my phone called Google Calendar.
I know I need to start using that. Everybody tells me I need to use that, but I'm kind of old
It's
school. I
great.
have to write it down and look in a
Oh, that's
planner.
me too. Like I depend on my phone so bad that, when T-Mobile had a power outage, I was like, I didn't know what to do. But honestly, the organization starts from, the Google Calendar. It starts from,
Uh,
planning, whatever the design is. I have wholesalers. I have companies that I work with where they hold me down. They fly my flowers into Miami. They ship them into Atlanta. I go
wow.
through cargo. So then my business partner, aka my husband,
There you
um,
go.
he picks up, a lot of flowers for me to a point now where he's like, "What color do you need?" So he's at a place now where he knows um,
Uh-huh.
what to look for, what's quality, what's not. I have teens now. They help me process flowers, get them on water. So it's like my flowers got to cook real good before I even get to them.
Well, I didn't even think about that. You got to make sure you take care of them before you actually set up
Yes.
and everything like that. So you got to make sure, like, they're watered properly or probably
Mhm.
stored in the right temp and everything like
Absolutely.
that.
Yes.
Oh, this is a lot that goes into this.
Oh, there is a lot. And so, people, I always try to make sure to educate people that, what I do along with other people in the event industry, we provide a luxury service.
Uh-huh.
Right. And so luxury means you take your time. My product is always premium. I'm very careful where I get my product from. It has to be processed. It has to be cut 45-degree angle. My buckets are sanitized with bleach water
Really?
solution, and they have to be stored in a cool temperature. So the wintertime is any designer's friend because we can put them in our garage. But I do have floral coolers in my garage. So it's kind of
I
like a
didn't even think about
studio.
all that.
Yeah.
So, well, how would
Mhm.
you do it if, like, say, for instance, somebody called you and they live like, you're in Georgia or yeah, say for here, Tennessee. Like, how would you like? I guess you would have to take care of the flowers at your house before transporting them. But transporting them though, do you have like a van that has a
Let me tell
cooler in
you.
it or something?
Um, so the cool thing is, as an agriculture teacher, you have friends that literally do everything. So
Okay.
ag friend who has a truck that's a cooler situation. Um,
Uh-huh.
but for the most part, as long as you can keep your flowers on some water and keep them hydrated, you're fine. So I have like a little F-150 seats flip back. I can get a lot of stuff in my pickup truck, but
I love a truck. I'm never going back to a car, man.
me neither. People don't
Yeah.
understand it. Like they see me
Yeah.
and they're like, "Get out you and your husband's truck." I was like, "No, this is my truck," and he has
Yeah. A
raised
truck
up
is life.
ready.
I didn't even think about this. You just kind of like and then it also depends on like what flowers do they want because a lot of people probably like request like I want this type of flower or I want
Mhm,
this flower. You probably have to do some research on that specific flower in order
I
to
do.
make sure that it's kept up and up to standards. I didn't even think about this. So a lot
Yeah.
of stuff goes into that. So I guess that's where your background, your major in Tuskegee falls into place. You know what I mean? So that's pretty interesting. I never really thought that that much went into it, but I guess it does go into it. It makes sense. But me being on the outside looking in, it never really dawned on me. Like, what? So, what if you had to do something like if it's next week? How early would you have to like get flowers in?
So if I have something maybe next Friday, I would have probably already, if it's ahead of time, I would have probably already called one of my vendors and told them what I needed to get it ordered in enough time. Flowers are shipped. Majority of our roses come out of Colombia.
Okay.
And so sometimes
Wait,
flowers,
like Columbia, like
Colombia.
okay,
Yeah, the flower market is a billion-dollar industry. The
really?
biggest the biggest holiday just passed Valentine's Day,
Uh-huh.
and Mother's Day is a real big holiday too. But yeah, for the most part, they ship it directly to my wholesaler, different companies. There's several in Atlanta,
Uh-huh.
and but if it's not available, I'll tell the client that due to the time frame, I'm unable to get that particular flower. However, let me give you some options. So if I want to keep the client, I always want to offer some options.
Gotcha,
Me too.
gotcha.
Mhm.
That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that it was that in depth, man, but I guess it really is that in depth. But I also notice in some of your setups though, you have like a little bit of style to it too, like a little bit of fashion. So how does that come into play? Like I mean, which is a really a good blend because a lot of times people think when if something that's floral, it's just a bunch of flowers everywhere, but yours has a little bit of flair to it. Like
So sweet.
what how did that come about? Like I'm just gonna put a little
You
fashion. It's
know,
almost kind of like you are kind of like a fashion designer too.
well, it really is. And to be honest, if you would have asked me when I was like 8 years old, what do you want to be in life, Chauncey? I want to be a fashion designer. I
Oh,
had no
okay.
fashion sense. I wear black every day, all day. That's like a funny joke, also. But people that wear a lot of black have colorful minds, and so
Uh-huh.
comes to flowers, that's actually how I display like my personality and the things that I love and the colors and how I blend them. I am inspired honestly by a lot of designers, European designers.
Uh-huh.
Their aesthetic is a little, different, fun, and modern. If you've, ever lived in Atlanta, there's an Atlanta style that's very over the top and lots of flowers just everywhere. And
Uh-huh.
end of the night, you're looking at that like, what in the world are we gonna do with all this product? And
Yeah.
goes in the trash. And so, like you said, it was my background being in environmental science. I have a very, to me, a minimalist style as well. And so I do understand that there's a lot of wasting that goes on. A
Uh-huh.
lot of my flowers are repurposed, at the end of the night, meaning like I may contact a couple of people and like, hey, do you know anybody that's in a personal care home, the hospital?
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Pick some flowers up, or I can, put a few things together for you, or a couple of coworkers. I might just have a vase of a couple of flowers for them as well after an event. And if, you
That's
know,
really good.
yeah, my mom is always going to get a little piece of every event that I do in Atlanta. You may have seen it on TV or at somebody's party on Instagram, but my mommy's always going to have a little piece of that party
Yeah,
after.
and I was thinking that like your setup kind of reminds me like kind of like that music soul child, that neo soul kind of like era. Like
Oh,
every time I see it, it's kind of like that I get that vibe from it or whatever. You know what I mean? Especially the one where it's you and your husband and y'all did like that little photo shoot. I think that's one of the dopest
oh,
shoots that I've seen in a while, man. I was
you
just like, that is
know,
really cool. Did you think of that yourself, or did your husband have some input too?
he did not have any input
Cause
in that.
he is. I mean, he is a noob, so I already know he got style. I
He's a real
already
cool.
know he got style.
He has style. He really does. But at the end of the day, um, because of the industry that I'm in, like, I like to recreate some things that I've seen. And when everybody saw it, they were like, oh, that's what is that movie Slim and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I
I
know.
can't
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I
Yeah,
can't even
it
think of the name of it.
it
But
is kind of that vibe. Yes,
yeah, so I was kind of like, it ended up being like that, but I just, it was 20 years of marriage. I just wanted to create something very classic. And so it was
congrats, 20
a
years,
vintage, thank
congratulations.
you. It was a vintage vehicle, and black and white photos always scream vintage.
Right.
But I will say the event planners that I do work with, they are absolutely phenomenal. And so I am one piece. Now I'm always going to believe that I am the most important piece. I call myself the cherry on the top. But when I do small events, a lot of things come into play when it's, the overall aesthetic. So candles, linen, any other elements are very key to bring the overall aesthetic. But when I put the flowers on top of all of that, it's like get the cherry on top.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. So, have you ever thought about opening up your own like flower shop or floral shop?
You know, I have visions like, with this education situation. I'm like, people want to prophesy over me all the time. They're like, girl, you are done in education. It is time for you to flourish and let the world see those flowers and everything. But I feel like education is my ministry. So, um,
Okay.
a desire to have, uh, you know, an actual like floral shop, probably, I would say probably not my thing.
Uh-huh.
It's a, this, and it's just, it takes a lot. It
Gotcha.
It really does take a lot. But we are still working on my design studio in my garage.
Oh, wait a minute, design studio. What's that about?
So it's just I'm trying to just create a fun vibe,
Hmm.
where I design my flowers eventually. Like we've had it painted, had the floors done. I have like I floral coolers, but my daughter,
Okay.
she always says, she's like, Mom, we gotta, get it to where, me and you have a couch in there. And so I in a girlfriend cave type of situation.
Yeah.
When I design, I am listening to music. And so even when I'm setting up, it's funny. I'll have event. I had an event planner that was like, "Can you turn that off? You messing up my vibe." And I'm like, "But you messing up my vibe because I
Yeah.
need I
Yeah.
need music." So when I design, I gotta have a good playlist.
No, that's what's up. Like, yeah, I didn't know that it, well, I mean, I didn't know that all that went into that. Now, when you say, now back to teaching, now what do you teach now? I don't think I asked you that. What do you teach again?
So I am an agriculture education
Okay.
teacher. So I am the
Makes
teacher
sense.
plant science, small animal care, environmental science, soil science, conservation, career leadership, all of that good stuff. And I am the teacher that in the springtime we open up our greenhouse to the community and it turns into an agribusiness, and we sell the plants.
Really?
Absolutely. The hens that we raise, we have an animal science teacher now, but we raise chickens. And we have eggs that we give away to the community. And
Wow.
we take care of the kids. We have pets. We have rabbits and guinea pigs. We used to have aquatic tanks with fish. We grow hydroponically, plants, herbs. Students, some of them make project. I have a project where I have one of my students making tea. She's growing chamomile. Um,
Really?
Yes, we do all kind of cool
Man, you
stuff.
are educating the youth on how to like pretty much survive and keep it going. That's pretty cool. I don't
Mhm.
know of too many people that are doing that, or maybe I just haven't met them yet. But I think I've always thought that that was really cool when when you teach people how to grow their own stuff, grow their own like vegetation, food, and all that. That I always was impressed by people who did that, have their own gardens. I've always wanted my own garden, but I just never really pursued it or anything like that. I
You
mean,
won't need a big space, Travis. You just need, I always tell people you just need a food grade bucket. You all have a firehouse there where you are?
We
Firehouse
say
subs?
firehouse. What do you mean?
Firehouse subs? You never heard
Firehouse.
of Firehouse subs? It's a
What's?
sub. It's a sandwich place, and they
I've
sell
never heard of that.
oh, yeah, they sell food grade buckets, and so you can, pick them up, they're like $5 a piece, you can grow vegetables in them, and
Really?
I teach kids, like, it's an urban agriculture program, so we teach kids, doesn't matter where you are, you can grow food wherever you are, and, we
'Cause
just
I wouldn't mind growing my own tomatoes and like
you can.
peppers and spices and all that. You know what I mean?
You can just get some containers. You don't have to, dig in the soil to do all that. I actually, we just harvested our broccoli and our collard greens.
What?
And
Y'all
so
make broccoli and collard? You talking about at your home or at your school?
no, at the school,
Oh,
and
okay.
we pulled up with the turkey necks
Huh?
and the hot sauce. We made jiffy cornbread. We ate the collard greens, and we made broccoli Alfredo. And the
What?
kids had a time. Yes, we did.
Oh, I need to enroll into this school or whatever. And not only am I learning about plants, but I'm going to eat good too,
Well,
and
come
I'm going to
on.
learn how to grow. And I'm going to learn how to grow it. Like, is this collegiate level or what? What?
High school, 9th through 10th. I mean, excuse me, 9th through
Really?
12th grade. Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Like, my school didn't do that when I was in ninth and 10th grade. Like, yeah,
No,
nah, we didn't do
well,
that. On.
the programs have grown a lot.
Mhm.
They're pretty much everywhere. So,
So where do you, two questions. So one, where do you see yourself in the next like 5, or maybe even 10 years? And then also, what advice would you give to someone who is like, trying to do what you do and following your footsteps and, some of the lessons you learned along the way that got you to the level of success you are now?
so in 5 years, honestly, I'm hoping that the legislation will come out to say that teachers can retire in 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm on year 21. I'm on year 21, and in my thinking, they'll let me retire and then come back, collect my retirement, and still work full time. That's
Okay.
wishful thinking, and there are talks about something to that nature. I see myself still designing. I see
Uh-huh.
myself, one thing, a lot of designers, they grow, they evolve, and
Uh-huh.
they come up with the actual design and they bring in other designers to carry that out. But one thing about me is I enjoy it. I'm very passionate about it. It's like,
Uh-huh.
it's a very gratifying experience to be able to design for people and it makes them happy. You know,
Right.
flowers are a conversation piece. I like to
Uh-huh.
stand back and watch people in a room and just like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And
Yeah.
because it's God given, that's gratifying for me. And so I still
Right.
see myself designing in 5 years. You mentioned a van. My husband was like, where do you think you're going to park a van in the front yard? I was like, I don't know. You can like rent that like a parking space at a storage unit or something. But I
Right.
do see, I mean, like I said, I love black. I do see an amazing black van in my near future, um, with rims and
That's the Atlanta coming out of you right there.
yeah, I just see myself pulling up in something real fancy and all black, tinted windows. I see just evolving, I do see myself evolving and still making connections in the community. One
Uh-huh.
of my passions is actually designing for nonprofits. And so that, like I say, I mentioned like, I pray before I do anything. So I lend my talent to a lot of nonprofits who have events
Uh-huh.
and they need flowers. And so um, I definitely donate my time to work for several organizations doing that. And so I want to continue to do God's work in the community through God given talent of design. And that's basically it. And as far as advice, what
Uh-huh.
kind of advice do I have? So, one piece of advice that I would give a designer that would like to work in the industry and evolve in the industry and make connections in the industry is really networking. So, there are a lot of groups on Facebook of designers that are looking for freelancers. And so,
Uh-huh.
that's the best way to meet other designers who are working. That's the best way to learn. One thing I would say, there's a formal way, there's YouTube, there's Pinterest, but when you get that hands-on experience and you're
Uh-huh.
actually getting to see how other people create these mechanics when they do these big installations, it's the best experience that you could ever have. And I'll say also, you know, talk to designers and understand that what we do, it
Uh-huh.
is very physically demanding. And so
Uh-huh.
you work long hours, you set up events, and you know us, Travis, the
Yeah.
event is over at 11.
Yeah.
They're saying, well, we're going to keep this party going till 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
A lot of times, we get home late, and a lot of my designer friends, we get massages after we do events. We have heating pads for our feet. We soak our feet.
Oh, I
It
can
don't,
imagine.
yeah, I don't care. I got a pair of Hokas. People are, well, yeah, you got on some Hokas. I said, it don't matter what kind of shoe you have. When you're standing on your feet hurt.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
your
you are
feet.
absolutely right. Yes.
Yeah, your feet, your back, and
Yep.
you have to be. One thing about this industry, when you have a client and they book you,
Uh-huh.
they do not care that you have the flu. They don't care that you got COVID. They don't care that you had a loss in your family,
Uh-huh.
because the nature of the game is you have to be ready to execute.
Right.
So, and you spend a lot of time away from your family as well. And
Uh-huh.
so, when you decide to be in this industry, know that you have to charge people for your time. And what I tell people is, I don't care that you might look up how much the product costs. You're paying me to stand on my feet and to design, you know, um,
Uh-huh. That's a
as,
very good point.
yeah, you have to, because if you could do it yourself, then you would. You know,
Right.
and a lot of people love to say, like, well, I'm a designer, but, I just let you do it. Well, you're letting us do it because you want it done the right way. When you have
Right.
a party, you want to impress your friends, you want to impress people.
Right.
So you want to call the best. You know, one lesson I learned too is that every event is not for you. You might do a quote for somebody and
Uh,
you may not hear back. And then when, the event comes and you see it all over the internet, you have to know your value and you have to know your worth. I've turned down some situations because,
wow.
um, you have to learn, like, you want your shot, but you have to remember that, the celebrities, getting a shout out on social media is not going to keep your T-Mobile bill on. It's not going to
Not
keep
at
your
all.
on, and it's not going to pay your mortgage. And so, um, somebody called me the other day and I said, well, this is what it is going to cost, and I'm happy to create it for you. But this is what it's gonna cost. So you just have to set boundaries as well.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, that's what's up. So let everybody know your business from you, and like how they can get in touch with you and what services they, what can they expect, or if you got an email or not an email, but a
Website.
website, yeah, and things like that.
So I wanna say I'm so proud of my website.
It looks really good, by the way,
Thank
too. I
you.
was reading off that earlier, and I was like, okay, she actually put some time and thought and effort in it. It looks really good.
Well, I invested in myself and I have a fellow designer, Christopher Marks, shout out to him. He is a designer and he also is in the marketing field. So he created my website. And so you can hit me up and take a look at my work by logging on to www.lafleurchick, that's LAFLEUR, chick.com. And that's how you can find me. And on Instagram, you can find me at LaFleur_chick, LAFLEUR_CHICK. And that is how you can find Chauncey Coleman, LaFleur Chick. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I have all of that too. I'll make sure like the audience is able to find you and make sure you're set up for success just in case anyone wants to reach out. And I encourage everyone to go to her website and check out some of those photos and stuff. I mean, like you will not be disappointed. And I'm not just saying this just to say this. I mean, like it is really amazing how she mixes like the flowers with kind of like this like style. I don't even know if it has a name. You probably just created a whole new like genre
Did it, but
of
I'm so thankful.
floral
Hype me up, hype me up.
design or whatever. So this is good. So I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to come on to the podcast platform to celebrate you and what you do. And we will have you on like again. We'll do a follow up because this summer what I want to do, I want to start doing like some mobile podcasting, like where I actually come to like what behind the scenes of you setting up and things like
Oh,
that.
that is so dope.
As it's
I love
growing,
that.
yeah, this is yeah, I guess it's a whole bunch of things that I got planned and stuff. So we definitely will get you back on, and we definitely revisit. And I am going to reach out to you because I want probably something set up for my birthday and things like that. I just got to figure out
I
what
think
it
that's
is.
awesome. Are you not ready for a milestone, are you?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
You look the
yes.
same. You
Uh-huh.
do you look the same.
That's what everybody say, but yeah, man, 76. So this is my year right here. You know what I mean? It's real. So in August 16th, so what what happened?
My daughter just walked by. She's like, "Wait, what?"
Okay. Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, but I appreciate you coming on, and spending time once again. And like I said, once again, LaFleur Chick, make sure you go out to her website and check her out. She has a lot of interesting things to show you, and she's very talented. So, as I always say when I end it, make sure everybody keep it country, keep it cowboy, and hey, God bless America, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. This was so fun.